What are subtle red flags at a job interview that say, working here would suck? I always ask about training and learning curves. Every job I've had that went wrong. I notice that when that question came up they stumbled. The current job I have. When I asked the question they had sparks in their eyes as they explained the whole process from day one of shadowing to the transition to working solo. And even when COVID hit they managed to continue without skipping a beat. Edit. Oh gosh, thank you. My first ever award. Made my week. Well, the overtime isn't _mandatory_, but most folks stick around after hours most days. Spoilers. The overtime is mandatory. They told me all about their generous severance packages. In the initial interview, Turnover City was interviewed by a senior programmer and the department head. The department head was continuously making condescending remarks towards the other interviewer. Poor guy just sounded broken. Hope he's somewhere else now. Once an interviewer straight up asked me if I had any trouble working for free on weekends. I told them my free time is more valuable than anything and that the only way that I would work a weekend is if they are paying me and if I felt like working a weekend. She got really mad at me and ended the interview right away. Biggest red flag I've ever seen because they didn't even try to hide it. When they ask out of nowhere what clients can you bring with you? My favorite is, there's a lot of people waiting in line to work here. Count yourself lucky. Huge red flag. This actually happened to me. Interviewer. Do you have any questions for us? Me. What is a challenge this department has recently faced? Interviewer. Job security. When you are signing all the forms they give you and you are taking your time to read over every document so that you can fully understand what you are getting into and people come in and start telling you that you don't need to read this and that, just sign here and so on. I didn't know it at the time. But, "You'll be wearing many hats," was a sign that they were going to give me the work of 4 positions and the wage of 1. I didn't last a year there before I left and now I won't even finish reading job ads that include that line. You are required to wear clothing that has the company logo. You must purchase it yourself. From the company. My current boss gave me a great tip on the last interview I had. He said, ask them if you can pick an employee to chat with about how they like the position you're applying for. They'll give a better impression of the place than management. I got the job I was interviewing for. I turned it down because the above is the kind of management I want to keep in my life. Also, the place undercut my pay offer, I found out, which is certainly also a red flag. When you ask, "What do you like about working here?" and the interviewer talks about the location of the job, it's a great place to live, instead of the actual job. We only want the best of the best. Me. How much are you paying? Minimum wage. If they seem too relieved that someone actually showed up for the interview. I brought up a company's awful Glassdoor reviews and they got so mad they ended the interview. Well, guess I dodged that bullet. I was once told, sometimes the hourly workers go on strike and they lock us in to keep the production line running. But management brings us steaks and we have an informal agreement with the union so you can cross the picket lines once a week to visit your wife. Employees are either new hires or have been there for 15+ years with no in-between. There is no room for improvement. It's better to leave for advancement. Everyone looks tired. Also, you don't see anyone in your department before working in it other than the boss. Made this mistake a few times, was the worst jobs. When they feel the need to reassure you in the interview that at that company, they work hard, but also play hard. They don't play hard. It's a sweatshop and they're just trying to convince that it's anything but one. We don't like clockwatchers here. We expect everyone to be committed. Expecting more work for no extra pay. Getting mad at you when you leave at 5 even though your stated work hours end at 5. They dodge questions on pay. Meaning they don't pay enough for what they expect of you. The word family, in reference to the employees, means they want you to work lots of unpaid overtime. Edit. Also forgot. But if they keep talking about the experience you'll gain, that's also code for, we know we're going to be underpaying you. Always ask the interviewer about the last person who worked the position you are interviewing for. How long they worked. And why they left. Their answers can be very telling of the work environment. You'll get full-time hours but won't be full-time, aka we'll do everything in our power to avoid giving you benefits even though we have you working more than 40 hours in a week. I once turned down a job offer because they mentioned that the previous person in the position had quit after a few months. And most of the people I interviewed with seemed stressed out.